Hey guys, so once again, myself and Premier Pro Wrestling recognize Black History Month wrestlers you should know. This one I've been really looking forward to. He's an old friend, and I don't like that term journeyman so much in the wrestling industry because it's overused and I think it has negative connotations in a sense because he's so much more than that. So you may not know W.T. Jones, Wilton Jones, but you can familiarize yourself with him by going on the WWE network and searching for him. This guy was hilarious. Let's start with the first things first. The first things first is this, and I didn't know this, the extent of it, but here's something I want you guys to think about. Wilt was a firefighter in Milwaukee and reached the rank of lieutenant. He started his firefighting career in 1974. Now, that being said, if you guys have watched, for example, the current Dahmer thing on Netflix, which I'm sure a lot of you have, you'll see what this guy was up against in 1974, being a black man and becoming a firefighter in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. I mean, it's obvious, it's documented, it's proof, it's historically accurate how at the time the current climate or the then climate was when, with people of color. So that being said, that right away should honor this man. He was 37 years with the Milwaukee Fire Department. And I have respect for military and also especially firefighting because that's the most selfish thing I can think of. Are they paid decently? Yes. But in a town like Milwaukee or a city like Milwaukee, Wisconsin, with the population and the craziness that goes on up there off and on, just like it does where I live, Chicagoland, you know this guy risked his life on more than one occasion. And how do you put a price on that as far as salary goes? As a performer, Wilt was broke in and trained by Tom Rocky Stone, who's another unsung hero who has his thumbprint all over so many in the wrestling industry. But the thing with Wilt was he didn't break into the industry until he was, I want to say, 36 years old. And that's saying something because at that age, to get into the wrestling industry tells you something about the heart and determination of this guy. That being said, look at the picture. He was a 6-footer or better, 260 pounds. And while you're looking at his picture, I ask you, would you like him on your side if you were going in to do battle, if you were going into a fight? I know I would. The other thing about him is a good-looking guy. He looks to me, and he always looked to me, like he ate Lou Gossett Jr., and then went to the gym and power lifted, if you understand what I'm saying. He's a good-looking guy and thick with 3 C's. Thing I liked about Wilt was this. I worked with him 50 to 100 times probably on the spot shows, on the little shows in Milwaukee and this area, and I always got paired with him, whether he was the baby face or he was the heel. I never worried about putting myself in harm's way with the guy, trusted him explicitly. He was a guy that I loved to work with that never exposed the business. He laid it in. He expected you to hit him back as hard as he hit you. So he wasn't one of those big egomaniacs that just said, I'm going to get over on the little guy that's going to fly for me, which at the time that was a problem. That was an issue. He was a natural as far as this industry goes, and if he would have broke in and he had the aspirations to break in as a younger man, he could have gone somewhere and done something and been something in this industry. But again, the thing with W.T. Jones was he was all about his firefighting career. Like I said before, don't not take note of the fact that he reached the rank of lieutenant. And family. The guy had integrity, has integrity, and every time he talked about any member of his family, he got a real prideful smile on his face. I like to travel with him Some of the WWE shots that we used to do together were really far. We go from like Chicago to Milwaukee. Then from Milwaukee, we go to, like, for example, Nebraska. I loved riding with him. I loved rooming with him because there was absolutely no drama. The other thing is I could ask him so many questions about life, about parenting. And to be honest with you, as somebody who left home at 15 and didn't have a father figure, I didn't realize it then, but part of the reason why I was attracted to riding with him was because of the fact that he was such a great father and he exuberated that, and I just loved to feed off that and ask questions. Funny road trip story. So one time we went on one really long shot, and I don't remember what it was, but I'm thinking it must have been Omaha, Nebraska. And it was somewhere, probably 1990. I don't think it was 1989. Wilt turned me on to the first gold record selling rap artist, Too Short. He had Too Short's tape in the cassette player in the car, and it was stuck. So when the radio was on, that's all it would play. And people laugh today, and we're going, 30-something years later, but that was my introduction to rap/hip-hop, which I really do appreciate and enjoy. The youngsters that I train think it's a joke and it's funny, and when they find out that it's real, they laugh even harder. I do love rap and hip-hop. But anyway, Too Short was just undeniable. And for you youngins that are into rap, into hip-hop, you've got to go back and look at Too Short and find Too Short's music on YouTube or wherever you find your music, and you'll see why this guy was the first gold record for rap. But anyway, Too Short, and pardon my French, was pussy this and bitch that. But bitch, it's just a word. That's the one that sticks out most of my mind. I had fallen asleep. I took a nap on the road trip, and I woke up with a stiffy because all Too Shorts talk about women, bitches, and pussy. So there it is, to give you an example. It was hilarious. And if I liked it or not, I was ingratiated into rap. The other thing is, the last thing I'm going to say about W.T. Jones, and I know it's been done since, but I've been in the industry and I've been around and I've been in the territories. He had a little 2 to 3 inch tiny ass, not rat tail, but a braid on the back of his bald head. It was really tiny. It was microscopic, and I'm sure it was microscopic because of the fact that he was a firefighter and couldn't sport that kind of hairstyle back then. The first time we went up and did television together for the AWA, for Vern Gagne, the way he sold it was hilarious, because when he got taken back working the babyface into the ropes, he oversold it awesomely on a tight camera shot and said, "He pulled my hair." That was hilarious, and that got him over with Vern and whoever else. And that's the other thing. He exuberated this outstanding, like I says, integrity, sense of humor. He was just a positive, charismatic guy. So anywhere we went with whatever names at the time, because it really was a separative thing, he always garnered the respect of everybody in the locker room and anywhere he went. The other thing I want to say, the last thing I'm going to wrap up with, is this. I am personally a big Trump supporter / Republican, and the fact that Wilt, like I told you, was all about integrity, street smart, all the attributes that I told you about. He isn't. So during all that political stuff at its peak, when it was heated, every time I would see a post by him or a reply by him, I would stop and open my mind and say, well, Wilt is a good man. And that's the bottom line. He's a good man. So that being said, I never got into any of that goofiness with him. And he'd stop and make me think he's not a stupid guy, and he's got integrity up the ass, probably more than I do. Maybe I should open my mind a little bit. Again, guys, today, black wrestlers you should know. W.T. Jones, Jawbreaker Jones, Wilton Jones is a black wrestler that you should know. Please note that this is being put up without YouTube commercials on it. So please support Premier Pro Wrestling on Patreon, Premier Pro Wrestling on Patreon, Premier Pro Wrestling on Pivot Share, Premier Pro Wrestling Tees. I hope you guys are enjoying this series. We're trying to do one a day for the entire month of Black History Month.